What's good YouTube, it's Adam from iMusic Mobile. We'll do a brand new video. Today we're going to go ahead and remake from scratch GNX by Kendrick Lamar featuring Hit J3, Young Threat, and Peso. The tempo for this one is 90 beats per minute, and the track is produced by Sounwave, Jack Antonoff, Rascal, Kenny and Billy, and Tim Maxey. We're going to start off with that piano that loops throughout the entire track, so let's get straight to it. So for that sound, we're going to bring in Logic's Studio Piano. We're going to bring that in here, and we're going to change it over to a preset, the Concert Grand. We'll leave it on the default settings. Now, let's go ahead and get to that pattern. So the pattern here is in a triplet time, so we're going to change our brush tool to a triplet, and we're just going to paint in the notes right here just so it's easy to stay on time with the 8 triplets. Then we go here. All right, so there's the notes right there. We're just gonna select all of them and make sure the velocity is set to its max just to give it that tone that we need that's heard in the original track. All right, so there's the main piano. Next, what we're gonna do is just add in a little bit of chorus just to soften it up. So we're gonna go Control-Command-P on our keyboard and bring in chorus. And we're just gonna use the default setting that loads up here. We're just gonna bring down the mix a bit. It just softens it up ever so slightly. Next, we're gonna go bring in the drums. So we're gonna go to our drum kits. I did put together a GNX deconstructed kit. Link will be down below. We're gonna go ahead and go to the folder organized by song. We'll go to GNX. Here are all the samples in GNX. So we're gonna select all of them. The only thing I'm not gonna take is the bongo phrase because, well, it's not gonna be used as a drum. It's just gonna put in as a loop. So we're just gonna drag in all of the one-shot samples, bring it into our drum machine designer right over here. And let's start off with that 808. So I'm just gonna make sure that the 808 is coming a little bit louder here because by default it goes to -6. Let's go ahead and loop out this piano to 4 bars. So there are a couple different 808 and hi-hat patterns in this track. We'll just get to a few of them in this remake. Next, let's get to that first hi-hat pattern. Next, we'll put in a couple reversed one-shots. Let's start off with the reversed open hat. Now let's get to that reverse perk. And now let's get to that rim shot. Now on this perk sound over here, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring in a little bit of reverb. So we'll go Control-Command-P and we'll bring in chroma verb. And we're just gonna use the default setting that loads up here, but we're gonna make a little bit of adjustments to it. We don't want it too much. We'll bring down the distance a bit. And a little bit of the decay as well. We just want a little bit of reverb in there. And then to bring everything together, we're gonna bring in a reversed 808 that happens at the end of the pattern. It just helps with the bounce. Now, for some reason, you can't just duplicate a track in Logic's Drum Machine Designer. So what we're gonna do here is just go back to our 808 and bring it back into our Drum Designer, just so that we have a second instance of it. And then what we're gonna do here is open up Logic's Quick Sampler, and we're just gonna hit this reverse button right here so that the 808 is reversed on playback. And then we'll create a pattern region and just put in that 808 at the end there. All right, next, let's go on to the next section. We're gonna go ahead and copy over everything over here. And we're gonna go ahead and create a new software instrument track. And we're gonna bring in Logic's Alchemy. And for that preset, we're gonna just go ahead and search it up. We're gonna bring in a preset called Classic Super Saw. So this one right over here. Let's go ahead and close that out and draw in that pattern. And what we're going to happen at the end right here, it's going to be like a gliding thing that's happening in the back. Now, it's not going to be exact as the original because with effects, it's really hard to recreate a matching thing. But we're going to try our best here. So we're going to drag this out. And then we're going to drag in another one, an octave up. We'll soften this up. All right, so that doesn't sound good as it is. We're going to add in some legato to slide in those notes. So let's open up Logic's Alchemy. And what we're going to do here is go to the Advanced tab, go to Mode Legato, leave it on auto, and pull up the glide to about halfway point. I'm going to pull up the attack as well a little bit. So it's happening a little too fast there, so let's pull that back. And I'm just going to bring down, what am I doing here? Bring down the velocity here a little bit. All right, so like I said, effects is really hard to recreate. So we're gonna go ahead and layer up some tones that we need to get as close as we can to the original track. What we're gonna do here is just duplicate that track once again, open up Alchemy. We're gonna bring in another preset this time. We'll go to 70s synth strings, that's right over here. And what we're gonna do here is just go to Advanced tab. We're gonna do the same thing, pull up our rate, go over to legato, and I'm gonna copy down this same pattern over here, but just for the outro bit. So it's gonna go like this. Just make this a little louder here. And I don't think I want to stretch this out the full way, so let's go ahead and bring that back. Bring this one back as well. And next, go ahead and layer that up with one more sound. And I'm going to go over to the library browser. I'm going to go to an unreleased preset kit right now. I'm not sure if this will ever get released. It's a kit that I've put together, but I never actually released it. It's like a Kanye West inspired one. So I'm going to go over to, I think it's under mobile presets. No, let's go to IM presets and we'll go to flashing lights. And under the effects category, there's this siren lead that can work well here. So I'm going to go to copy over that MIDI. It's basically like a siren sound. I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of the plugins over there. And I'm just going to adjust the sound here. I'm just going to pull it down one octave. All right, open up Logic's ES2, and I'm going to change this over to legato and pull up our glide to about halfway. Let's pull up the release of it. Let's pull that down in volume, and it's going to be like this, layered with all of it. See, it sounds one more octave higher. I'll bring it down. And then we're just going to group these all together and just add in some effects. So we're going to go select all the tracks, Shift Command G to group it together. We'll open up our EQ. We're just going to cut out the lows here and boost the highs a bit. We'll bring in some chorus first of all. And then we'll bring in some reverb as well. And I'm going to go over to let's go to the cave preset here. Maybe that chorus is a little too soft. We'll leave that out there. So all together, it sounds like this in context. our next is going to the next pattern. We're gonna copy over the same drums and stuff from the beginning. So let's just take that over there. And what we're gonna do is just add in some of the other drums. So for the perk, it's gonna go something like this. We're just gonna work with the first bar here. Just bring this up in volume. All right, so that's it for that perk. And then we get to the bongo. And that's pretty much it. Next, we're gonna go ahead and copy this over. And for the arrangement's sake, it just pretty much, you take out the reversed hi-hats, you take out the bongos, and you take out the piano as well. And then we're gonna bring in this like effect stab that I sampled directly from the track itself. Pop that in right here into our session. And I'm just gonna add in a little bit of reverb on this track. A little bit longer. All right, so that's it for that section. There's a lot of sections with like little things here and there. Let's get to the next one. So we're gonna go ahead and copy over this section, just like that. We're gonna take out this outro stuff that's happening here. We don't need it. And I'm just gonna make sure this last note is muted as well. Get that out. Let's put it in our triangle here. Just gonna happen at the 1. All right, so very simple hit. Bring this back, add in some reverb. All right, straightforward enough. And then we get another perk pattern. So it's gonna go something like this. And that just basically duplicates itself for the 4 bars. So I'm gonna select all of these and just duplicate that over. And then at the end of this pattern, we get a new super saw pattern using the same sound here, but I'm just gonna duplicate the track and create a 4-bar pattern at the end of this region. But I think this is a triplet as well. So we're gonna just bring in our triplet here. Let's go to triplet. I'm just gonna draw in 3 notes. So let's bring this back to the front here. And we don't want them so long. We want it kind of stabby. So we're gonna lower these up here. Maybe a little longer. And we'll duplicate that over for the next half a bar. This one gets stretched out a little bit. And then also in this section, we get like this reverse guitar thing happening in the background. So for that, we're gonna go over to our library browser. We're gonna go over to Legacy, Logic. We'll go over to guitars. We'll go over to acoustic guitars, and we'll go over to the classical acoustic guitar. Let's draw on that pattern. Now this will get reversed, but we're just gonna play it out in normal playback, like from left to right, and then we'll get to the reverse section after. So it's gonna go something like this. Let's bring down the velocity. Just gonna solo this out so we don't go crazy from the other sounds. So for our guitar, I'm just gonna open up Logic Sampler. I'm just gonna bring back the decay a bit so it's not so long. Maybe a little bit longer than that so it's not so plucky. It's a little bit better. Let's go ahead and take out all of these plugins. We'll bring in some chorus here just to soften up the sound. Oh, that's reverb. I want chorus. Let's go chorus. All right, and then all we gotta do now is reverse that guitar. So what we're gonna do here is select our region, go Control B, and we're gonna go ahead and just bounce this in place. So it sounds like this. It'll be the exact same thing. All right, but then we're gonna go ahead and reverse it. So to do that, just select your region, hit this arrow key over here in our inspector tab and go click reverse. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that low end rumble. All right, and together. All right, and then at the end over here, our 808 just kind of gets like a 4 on the floor type of pattern. We're gonna take out our perks over here. Let's take out, I think this comes out. This open hat comes out. This perk comes out as well. And I believe the rim shot comes out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add in this open hat following the same pattern. So 1, 2, 3. And it goes like this. And then it goes into the next pattern. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna copy over all of our drum sounds. We'll copy over our piano as well. So we get this. So we're basically back to our main pattern. But what we're gonna do here is gonna switch up our hi-hat. So let's go ahead and open that up. And it's just gonna be a little bit of a simpler pattern here. And then we get some pads happening in the background. So let's go ahead and get to that. So for pad number 1, we're gonna create a new software instrument track. We're gonna bring in Logic's Alchemy. And we're gonna bring in a preset here called Ambient Flutter. Let's go ahead and select that right here. Let's go ahead and close this out and draw on that pattern. It's really just one chord progression, an E flat minor. It's kind of like a build that pad sound. And then we're gonna go ahead and layer up the sound with another Alchemy preset. Let's go ahead and open up Logic's Alchemy. We're gonna type in a new preset here called Block Bass. And we're gonna go ahead and use that, use the default settings that load up. We'll copy down the same pattern. It's gonna sound like this. Pitch that up 1 octave. All right, the only thing we gotta do here is open up Alchemy. We want that movement happening in the background. So what we're gonna do is pull up the sustain. But we don't want it that bright, so we're gonna use an EQ just to shape it up a little bit. So let's open up Logic's EQ here, and we're gonna take out a lot of the top end out here. And let's take out some of the low end here. We just kind of want that middle sound there. All right, and then layer together with this. Maybe on this, we'll take a little bit of the top end out. Bring that back about halfway. Maybe this is a little too loud. Bring that down a bit. That kind of happens in the background, and then we're going to get to the next section, which brings in another pad once again. So let's go ahead and copy all this over. We use the same drums. We're going to go ahead and delete this up. We'll create a new software instrument track. We'll bring in Logic's Alchemy. We'll go over to a preset here called Aquatic Ghosts. Let's go ahead and type that in. Aquatic Ghost right here. We're going to go over to the Lush Pulse preset over here. Just going to bring down the cutoff here a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is go over to our advanced tab and just leave this sound source B on. So we're gonna mute out sound source A. And we're gonna go ahead and copy over the same pattern down to over here. And it sounds like this. We get the velocity. And for arrangement's sake, we're just gonna copy over some stuff from the previous section. So let's go ahead and just copy over this. Copy over that, and for the drums, we're gonna cut this out, and we're gonna get these drums right over here. So let's just chop this up over here, and take all of this, So it goes with that pad into that forward to the floor type of thing. Maybe this, we have to cut off a little bit here. All right, and that is pretty much the remake right there. Next, all it takes is a little bit of arrangement and mixing. So when we come back, we'll take a listen to the full remake we just put together, Kendrick Lamar's GNX. All right, so here is the final session right over here. Before we go ahead and hit play, I just want to point out a few things. So for one, I get this guitar sound. Where's our guitar? Right over here. We get this one little pluck that happens over here. I didn't show it to you while we're breaking down the beat or making the beat. So we get this right over here. So we get this one little guitar pluck. It's the exact same guitar sound that we use on our reverse guitars. Just want to point that out. And then also what I did not show you in making the beat was these bongos right over here. I forgot to put them in. So it's just that same loop from our drum kit, this bongo phrase. All right, just put it in where it needs to go in the arrangement. All right, so that's the two things I want to point out. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the track from the top, Kendrick Lamar's GNX. That right there is GNX by Kendrick Lamar, remade in Logic Pro, featuring Hit J3, Young Threat, and Peso. If you're Logic Pro users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. Place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm going to go ahead and export all the MIDI stamps, audio stamps, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that playback down below the like button as well. If you have a question on this or just want to chat or have any suggestions for future videos, let's go chat down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.